Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1. If you can, sit down. If you can keep the prayer on your spirit. And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am ELSHADDAI. Walk before me and be thou perfect. This encounter happened, just verse 1. This encounter happened to Abraham when he was 99. But Abraham had first met God at the age of 75. His first encounter was around the age of 75. That means that for 24 years, Abraham had been walking with God. The background of this encounter was that Abraham had believed God that he was going to have a son. That faith was such faith that Abraham will not even stagger. He had held strong to the faith. Abraham is known as the father of faith, and it will not surprise us if he's called the father of faith, considering the feats that he was able to do by faith. You can imagine an extremely wealthy man with his wife and many servants leaving his house, and even his wife cannot tell where her husband is going because he himself does not know. He had traveled for these 24 years looking for a place whose builder was God himself. It means that for 24 years, Abraham was living in a hope. He could not see what he had believed God for. Each time I try to remember the story of Abraham, sometimes I plead with God, please don't do this to me. Abraham has done it, I believe. Just show me mercy. You see, there are things you will read in the Bible, then you will tell God, thank you for what you did to Job, but please don't do it with me. I may not have the strength that they had to do what they did. Have you ever tried to imagine the sorrows that Abraham had to deal with to keep his faith? That there were 318 men that were born in his house, and he trained them to become soldiers, and none of them was his child, but he was believing God all those years. It means that he kept dedicating children but had no son, and yet he was believing God. Have you felt when you were asking God for a breakthrough and didn't come? And as you showed up in church, someone comes to share a testimony about the exact kind of thing you have been praying, and you feel like saying, God, did you find everyone and leave me? Abraham was the carrier of the faith. His animals were the one giving birth. His servants were the one giving birth. To journey for 24 years is not something you want to do without seeing result. Abraham had done that. In short, Abraham at some point had calculated the wealth in his house. He was extremely rich. I want to assume there were over 1,000 people in his house. Because if you have 318 men who are worthy trained soldiers, that's aside children, that's aside fathers and old men that were in his house. And Abraham was feeding them. His wealth was so much that he went to God and told God, all these things I have, is it this Eliezer of Damascus that is going to take over them? It was a sorrow in his heart that he was wealthy, but he had nobody to bequeath his heritage, even of God to. And God told him, don't worry, you will have a son. But that encounter he had with God still didn't bring a son. Listen to me. There are encounters and there are encounters. And sometimes the encounters that give you an initiation into what God intends, if you are not careful, will become the encounter you hold as the culminating effect of your life. After that encounter, you will run with it, not knowing that those encounters you had were only initiating you to wait for the real encounter. He had encountered God many times, but listen to me, he had not yet gotten the son that God spoke about from the first encounter. And because of that, he was now beginning to question God, is it this Eliezer I'm going to give everything to? When he noticed that had happened, something else happened to him. His wife moved up to him and said, hey, God said you will have son. It's not as if he told. I was at the back even laughing, I doubted it. But as it is now, can you take Hagar? Because culture allows that my house girl will get pregnant. And in the culture then, you could give your house girl to your wife, to your husband, to get pregnant and give birth to a child for you. What will happen is that in the day she's going to deliver, the mother, that is Sarah, will sit down. And then Hagar will sit on her legs when delivering the child. It will be that Hagar has agreed that that child is not her own, it belongs to Sarah. But you see, life is life. Forget about technicalities of culture. You can run Christianity on technicalities, you can run it on laws, but may you find a real life. When Ishmael was born, life proved to Sarah that Ishmael was not her son. That even though culture had told her that that would have been a way to permutate into God's promise, it will still never have given her the promised child. When Ishmael was born, Abraham was happy. As far as Abraham is concerned, that's his seed. But for Sarah, she has been boycotted out of the promise of God for which she had cooked and given God to eat. Do you know what she told him? He said, cast out the bondwoman and her child. He had just casted out the child. Have you ever casted out your child? Don't think of it. I can imagine the sorrow in that house that day. Many of the servants will have celebrated that at last our master Abraham has a son. The son is even grown up. And then they saw Abraham. Abraham with his own hands was sending out his own child. I could imagine the sorrow. And all he gave them was water. Water that will not last the journey. Because halfway into the journey, the water was finished and the boy was dying. He could send away Hagar, the son that he had bet and was excited about. All because Sarah said so. It was in that grieving season, that stormy time of his life, that chapter 17 began. He had come to that point where he had been emptied. Listen, if you are going to walk with ELSHADDAI, He's the multi-breasted one, the one that supplies everything. Any part of your life for which you are the one supplying something, He will not make Himself known. When He's going to come, He's going to shut out everything that you know and you have. So all the wealth that Abraham had didn't make sense again. His servants didn't make sense again. Even Ishmael had been lost. Abraham was now left alone at 99 years, 24 years. Every route he had taken to provide for himself, God frustrated it. Sometimes the battles you go through is not Satan. Sometimes it is ELSHADDAI himself. Because if He will supply you milk, then you must have no other source of milk. If He will supply you meat, you will have no other source of meat, so that He can be called the multi-breasted one. He's ELSHADDAI, the one that sustains all and nothing sustains Him. He's the sustainer of everything. So for Him to introduce Himself as ELSHADDAI unto Abraham, He made sure He frustrated everything that Abraham could count on. Could God have been frustrating you? Do you know how long it took God to frustrate humanity so that we can receive salvation? It took Him about 4,000 years. You don't know how strong and stubborn you are until you meet Yahweh. You will think you love Him until He wants to introduce Himself as ELSHADDAI. When He comes, He goes after everything that supplies your needs. Because the only thing that should supply your need will be Him. That's when, as a pastor, you will use all the principles to grow a ministry and it will not work, because the person of Jesus is superior to principles. When He wants to introduce Himself, even the principles you thought He gave you will not work. Do you know He was the one that told them, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not fornicate, thou shalt not bear false witness. They kept all the laws. And when they were all done, one showed up and said, what must I do to get life? He said, but I told you everything to do. He said, we have done everything, but I found that doing everything doesn't give life. It is meeting a person. I know maybe you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't fornicate, you don't steal, but have you met Jesus? Because a man met my father in the Lord. He was not even a Christian. He was of the bondwoman. He had been married for 30 years and had never cheated on his wife. But yet he had not met Jesus. You see, everything that you successfully do by principles, when El Shaddai comes, he will come after it. So that at the end of the day, the glory will be to his name. So he turned and told him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Be thou upright. Be thou sincere. Can you be sincere enough, Abraham, to say, God, I've missed you too. I was trying to help you, not knowing that I can't help you. You are my helper. Sometimes you look at the circumstance of your life and the next thing you want to say is everything is lost. But maybe you should look closer and find out, could it have been El Shaddai? The storms he created around your life were designed to give him ground. This is where he needed Abraham. You have to outgrow religion. He told me something many years ago. He said, when you come into the kingdom, the first thing he wants to introduce to you is his person. Because that's the root of everything that he's ever going to do. His person. And if you have found his person, he will journey with you through his principles, through his patterns. He will journey with you through his wisdom until you arrive at his power. But it is about his person. Abraham had received promise. Abraham had run with promise. But God was coming to reintroduce himself. Just like he had done to Job. Job was upright, perfect, the best man in the east. Job had done a lot. But when El Shaddai needed to introduce himself, he made sure everything Job had was lost. Then Job told us what God really wanted to do. He said, I have heard of you with the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye have seen you. This was when Abraham was going to see El Shaddai. I've heard. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. To hear God is sufficient, but the time comes when you have to see him. When you have to see him come to the house and say, you tell him, sit, can I give you something to drink? Then he will tell you, by this time next year, according to the time of life, Sarah will conceive and bear his seed. That's when El Shaddai comes. He doesn't come merely by the hearing. He comes by the revelation of his person. And can I tell you something? I found out that many times the reason we don't overcome many warfares is because we have not seen him in the light of that warfare. He is the supply system of every battle, of every challenge, of everything that we go through. He's the supply system. That's why your New Year resolution will fail until you meet him. I don't know of you, how many times have we all gone to him? Lord, I will pray from now like this, and you never did. But when you meet him, when you meet El Shaddai, and he begins to supply the capacities of prayer. You know, I've said this many times while I was in the university. I pray. Prayer was not, I knew I was praying even in my dreams. I wake up praying. Then one day I looked at God and I said something. I said, whether you help me or not, I will follow you. That was the day I needed to see El Shaddai. For many days, I would walk to the prayer place and stand there. And I can't open my mouth to pray. All because there was no supply from the multi-breasted one. The reason is that he can supply prayer. Quicken us and we will not turn back from you. If you ever turn back in the place of prayer, it was because he didn't quicken. And can I tell you something? You can build prayer without him. Oh, there is a problem in our generation. A generation of people that have strong willpower to pray and are not quickened by him. You know what he will do? He will allow you pray that your kind of prayer, maybe for 7 years. When you have finished exhausting the last drop of it, then you will come to the altar begging. When you come, you say, now that you are empty, let me reveal who I am. I am the one that caused you to will and to do of my good pleasure. Has God emptied you of yourself? Because to take the journey with ELSHADDAI is Him emptying you. And I can tell that many of you are being emptied. And it looks like Satan, like a storm, came over your life. Yes, the storm came because ELSHADDAI was coming. And before He will come, He will make sure everything has parted way. So whatever He supplies will come from Him. And so glory will be given to Him and Him alone. Have you heard of people that fasted that they wanted power till they died? Have you heard of people that fasted until they ran mad? Then you will find a man that will tell you that he has not even learned how to do 4 days dry fast before in his life. But somehow God's power is available. It's not necessarily because God doesn't want a stretch fast from your life, but it's that if your heart comes to Him as broken and contrite, you will meet ELSHADDAI. But as long as there's something within yourself that you hold as your own strength, ELSHADDAI will wait. Unatani ainala. Psalm 46 and from verse 1. Psalm 46 and from verse 1. God, Imenani, is our refuge and strength. Can you help me read it? A very present help in trouble. Listen. We'll continue from verse 2. Listen to me. God, put back verse 1. Jesus, help me, help me. You can be praying in your spirit. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in the time of what? It's easy to find God when there is no trouble. When you come into the presence of God and the move of God is strong and the presence of God is strong, maybe just like Mr. Samuel Liha and Minister Blessed was leading us today. It is easy to find Him. But when you are in trouble and alone, that's when you turn around and it looks like you are forsaken, you are forgotten, you have been relegated, He can't hear you. But God in His infinite mercy now said, follow me. I am very present. I am present when there is no trouble because it's easy. But when there is trouble, I make myself, do you understand what it means? I make myself what? Very. You You know, you can walk into a place and you sit still, and people are not aware that you are there. But if you walk into a place and you scream, you become very present. When you walk into a place, you become active, you become very present. God becomes more active in the time of your trouble. If you are aware that it is when everything is gone that ELSHADDAI shows up, you will begin to rejoice when you are persecuted. You begin to rejoice when there is trouble, because that's when he becomes very present. The intention is that he wants to take advantage of that, your trouble. He wants to take advantage of that storm. He wants to take advantage of that lack. That when you prayed and you wearied out, he was very present to take advantage of it. Maybe you will find him as the quickening spirit and as the spirit of grace and supplication. That when you were in lack, he was very present. Maybe you will find him as the provider. When I was in the university, I told someone, I said, I don't know of you, but it became easy for me to know God as Abba Father. When I had an encounter to come before his throne, what I looked at him and called him was Abba Father. But it became easy because my father is late. And you see, when your father dies, those uncles that used to visit you, you will now find that it was your father they were visiting, not you. That when they were leaving and they gave you 2,000 naira, you will find out that it was not you they gave the money. It was your father's face they saw. I had no option than to look for him, and to look for him not as any other thing, to look for him as father, because here is a young man without a father. It was this year my elder sister called me. She said she was on a prayer walk and it dawned on her, so she called me. She said, you didn't meet our father really. I was just in SS1, so I didn't know much about him. Very young. He said, but how did you learn to be a father? The only option I had to learn what it meant to be a father was to have met the father. Every trouble, every circumstance you go through is an open door for a specific revelation of Jesus Christ. When he has sought out everything from Abraham, he needed to show up as the multi-breasted one. This is your wealth you want to give Eliezer, I have solution. This is your son that Sarah says you should send away, I have solution. This of faith of a city that the builder and maker is God himself, I have the solution. But you will have to walk before me and be sincere. That word perfect there means be upright and be sincere. Upright is the posture of your heart. Sincerity is the posture of your lips when it comes to communication. So if your heart is upright and your lip is sincere, that means you can walk up to God and say, God, I'm an angry man. I have tried everything about anger, but as I'm talking to you now, God, the anger is there. Do you have anything you usually supply angry people so that they will overcome it? I heard you say that blessed are they that are meek, for they shall inherit the earth. A meek man is a man that can control his anger. He's a man that has power, but the power is under control. A powerful man is not necessarily the man. How much power do you have that you can hold back? Can you walk into a place and you are abused and disrespected and dishonored, and you have the power to change it, but you just walk quietly because what you are looking for is God's will? He said those are the kind of people that inherit the earth. You have something like that. You are ELSHADDAI. If you come to him that way, then you will find the answer to it. You know, many times why we don't go that way, we still have 2 more principles to apply. You know, someone was sharing, a young girl, she went somewhere for a program with a school, and when they were at the program, they were telling them how to handle anger. They said, when you are angry, stay quiet and count to 10. After you count to 10, you'll have been calm. And the young lady was wise enough to raise her hand and say, excuse me, that thing you say doesn't work. When I'm angry, I talk to God. I know where the supply to deal with anger comes from. I talk to him. You are saying count to 10. Have you met people that are angry for 3 months? What will they count to? That one you are thinking, that's how long they will count. I'm sure there are people that pride in their anger. Have you reached your end in something before? When you reach your end, you start looking for ELSHADDAI. Can you give me the next verse? He's very present. Quickly, please. Verse 2. Okay. Therefore will not, can you help that microphone? Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed. Are you seeing the scenario being painted? Though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. 3. Though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. He said you should stop and think. If all these things happen, know that God is very present when they are happening. Be certain that He is very present. Not just present. Give me the next verse, verse 4. He begins to give us the wisdom to navigate. Listen to me, it's not easy to find ELSHADDAI. Because when the storm begins, many things will hinder you from locating Him even when He's there. Holy Ghost, thank you. Batania. You need to be sensitive on how to find God. I want to show you how to look for Him in the storm. It was in that storm that he found ELSHADDAI. The psalmist began to tell us how that a man within a storm can find God, because God is very present. He said the first thing you are going to find when you are looking for God in a storm is there is a river. When you are here, 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 when you are here. Follow me, follow me. It's a technology that is written there. I'm trying to teach you practical things because the day of trouble will always come and God will always be present, but few will know how to find ELSHADDAI. He said the moment you are in a very chaotic situation like verse 2 and 3 that we read, the first thing you should look for is the river. For out of your belly there is a stillness that you will have to seek, and that stillness will make you go beyond the noise, and you are looking for the Holy Ghost within you. Usually He's going to come as a river in your belly. That's why in a storm, God knows you won't hear Him well, so He leaves a sound on your spirit. You have to look for that river. There is a river. The intention of the river is to make you glad, because it is with joy that you can draw out of the wells of salvation. When you are seeing a storm, don't worry, just find the river. Can you find that river now? Find it. Let's use 3 minutes. I sense that there's something like a stone blocking water. That's what's happening to your river. Every time you try to look for God, it's like something has blocked it. When you find the river, what the river does is that it makes you rejoice in persecution. What the river does is that it brings a joy upon your spirit. The situation is still intact, but you found the river. That river is a sign of spiritual health. Every time you don't find that river, it means that your spiritual health is under attack. You need to be healthy to find Him. All those things that happened to Abraham were designed to shut him out, but Abraham could find it. He could find it. I know you are angry, you are bitter. I know you are wearied, you are depressed. But I came to tell you there is a river. There is a river in your belly. It's a river of life. The songwriter says when it begins to flow, it brings everything alive. It brings your spiritual senses alive. It brings your alignment with God alive. Suddenly you become alive to God. Because the intention of the storms is that you will not be alive to God. God will be very present, but you can wake up and say, God was here and I knew not. How can that be? He's very present. the fountain of life. Let it flow, Spirit flow. From the fountain of life. Let it flow, Spirit flow. From the fountain of life. Let it flow, Spirit flow. From the fountain of life. A healthy spiritual life, you will wake up with a sound. When you are healthy in the spirit, you wake up with a sound. Sometimes it can be as strong as from your spirit. From your visions, the sound will begin. And when you wake up, when you hear that sound, it means that the river is active. It takes that river to find him in a situation. There is no situation so hard that you can't find him. He's very present. And he comes to supply. When that person is shouting on you, before you get angry, just go inside. From the fountain of life, let it flow, Spirit flow. From the fountain of life. Hey, from the fountain. There's a crafting going on someone's spirit. We bring you the craftings of life. 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 Utanali. I've come that you may have life, and that you will have it more abundantly. Never let that song die. When the richness of God's word is upon your spirit, the sounds of psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, and melodies are the signs of that health. Find it. He said something. He said, there is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad. It shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. Give me the next verse. 5. God. God is in the midst of the river. Please follow me. Follow me. Follow me. I see many of you come to church and you miss many things. Can you stop being religious? Every time that river flows, there is a certainty that God is in the midst of it. He's in the midst. That means if you give attention, you will find him. The worship song was not designed to entertain you. It was designed for you to find him. Every time the river flows, don't get overexcited with the river. Find him. The river can start now. You see, when I began, there was a prophetic word God gave me, and that was what I was waiting to announce after the teaching. That God said, take up your journey with ELSHADDAI. But as the sound began, he was in the midst of it, and I could not but. He's always in the midst of it. You can be in the marketplace. Nothing really is on your mind. Suddenly the river, the moment you find the river, he's in the midst. It means God is interested in doing something at that moment. You know my problem? I grew up in the Orthodox church, so I understand this thing. When worship is going up in the Orthodox setting, we just sit down. Waka neko is okay. They're just singing. And on the Pentecostal side, it is now entertainment. Everything. Meanwhile, when we start singing like that, God dwells in the praises of his people. He shows up only to discover some are too matured to worship him, and some are too excited to find him. And he's looking for a balanced man. A man that is so balanced can find where God is. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday, that we were casting out one. Yesterday. So a small girl was. So they called me to come and cast out the day. When I came and looked, at the point I just started my song. It was just a song. And the demon screams, stop, don't sing. Please don't sing. If you sing, he's in the midst. Then even a demon knows you are seated when worship is going on. You have no regard for his coming. Even a demon is saying, we know that he's coming inside here. You see, there are things that even demons don't see, that I see men talk. The book of Jude speaks about it. He said, men who are not wise, that things that even angels are afraid to talk about, men open their mouth. Do you know that when Angel Gabriel was standing and Lucifer came to touch the dead body of Jesus, of Moses, do you know what he told him? He said, the Lord rebuke you. Places that even demons fear to speak of or to go to, men open their mouths to speak. Many things to learn. Let me not go there. We have many things to learn. Meanwhile, it's not every song that is in the midst. It's a song that comes with a river. If there is no river, leave them to entertain themselves. Because that's one of the Jesus help me. You see, he has been talking to me about redigging the ancient wells. That one of the things that will happen in this season is that ancient things that were dug, ancient wells that our fathers had dug, will be redug back by this generation. And one of the signs is that you will see old encounters, mantles, prophecies, prayers, and songs that were ancient will begin to come alive again. But there's already a mistake happening. We are beginning to redig ancient wells and giving them different names, giving them different authority, giving them different expression. But if you look at the life of Isaac, the Bible says when Isaac redug the wells of Abraham, he named them with the name that Abraham gave. When Jacob alighted upon the altar of Abraham, he still called it Bethel the same way that Isaac called Bethel, the same way Abraham called it Bethel. You don't change the name. He's Jesus, the same yesterday, today, and forever. And what he did, he's doing, and he will yet do. He may give us the opportunity to redig those wells, but we must leave them with the same meaning. That means if the song came by the right of men who were martyrs for the kingdom, the song will be sung only that way. And if the prophecy was given by a man who gave his life for the gospel, it will be fulfilled by that kind of a man. It will not be fulfilled by entertainers. What my generation wants to do is to dig the well of the fathers and give it another name. And if we do that, we will lose our heritage. Because that's what Babylon wants to do. The Babylon wants to remove God from our names. Michelle, Hazarel, and Daniel. Remove that God and put Belteshazzar. Link him with the sun God. But only Daniel was able to keep his name. Will we keep it? Jesus help me. I didn't plan to go this way. When the mantle comes, will you keep the identity of the mantle? Because everything that comes, we want to funkify it. Everything that comes, we want to change its meaning. We want to make it fit to say it's a new era. Who told you God changed? Who told you he changed? The same God that appeared unto our fathers is the same God today, and it is the only way we are going to win. We will only win when we remain in his name. I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. But it shall be built on us, knowing that he's the Christ, the Son of the living God, not built on another identity. So you want your song to sell, so you give it a beat that will rhyme. You found the most trending thing, and then you put a message in it. Everything that trends is what you preach about. We have made the altar so unglorified that it is what happens online that becomes the examples of our message. We don't have God again to give our generation. We give it another name. And our youths are looking for that pastor that will do that. But woe betide the man that lives for the crowd. Woe betide the man that lives for the fame. Woe betide the man that lives for his own name. There is a well. There are mantles coming. We are taking a journey. I told you that the next 4 months are signs. Signs for the next 4 years. That God will give us signs in this season of the things that He intends to do in the next 4 years. And if any man is wise, then he will begin to keep the signs by covenant. Jesus, help me. Samonteni fia konute kivateni ni munkuriono fifani. That my generation will see the scrolls. Ukamamu fatani. There is nothing new we came to do. We only came to give expression to something that comes from the throne of Abba Father. That's what we came to do. If you can't find what is on the throne, keep quiet. The kingdom runs from the throne of Yahweh. And men are looking for God, and they are looking for the man that will bring God in His name. He said, blessed is he that cometh, not in his own name, that cometh in the name of the Lord, that will sing in His name, preach in His name, prophesy in His name. At the end of the day, what will be found will be that gives only God glory. He wants to introduce Himself. We have become a mockery as a church. He wants to reintroduce Himself. One of the things He told me is that I want to introduce myself to the people. I want to introduce myself as ELSHADDAI. I know many things have gone wrong, but I have the capacity on all sides to fix it. Listen, the church is not this weak. The church is not this confused. Maybe marauders and charlatans have gone ahead and have given a name for us, but the time comes when them who have been Adulam will come out. God is aware of people in the backside of the desert. He's aware. He's aware of the cry on your altar. He's aware. He's aware of it. And in the day when hands are changing and mantles are given and nations are accrued, may it be that you be found amongst the number as one who decided that I will live for Jesus and for Jesus alone. I'll fight every other thing until everything I express is the Christ. That when I sing, it will be the lost song. When I preach, it will be the counsel of God, and the oracles of God will find expression. That my life will give expression of the philanthropy of Christ. Can you give me the next verse? Jesus, help me. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her. And that right early continue. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered His voice. Commenter. If you find God in the midst of the river, look for His voice. Because in the day of your trouble, you need to find something. Can you give me verse 2? This is what is happening in that day. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth be removed, though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Verse 3. Though the waters thereof roar. There is a shaking and a voice that needs your attention. Satan is looking for your attention. Your flesh is looking for your attention. The world is looking for your attention. Your circumstances are looking for your attention. Whether they be lack or prosperity, whether they be pleasures or precious, they are looking for your attention. They want to speak into your ear. Psalm 29 verse 1. We'll read through. Give unto the Lord, O ye mighty, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due to his name. Worship God in the beauty of holiness. Next verse. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. That river that came, he uttered his voice. His voice is upon the waters. Those waters that happen in worship, his voice is there. The thing he wants to say to you is upon that stream, is upon the God of glory thundered. Suddenly he doesn't speak in a whisper because he's very present. He shouts when you are in trouble. He thunders. He thunders. He will not be still because he knows it's a bit hard for you to locate him. So he roars when he comes to you. The Lord is upon many waters. So he can make you sing for 1 hour. Many songs will be running around, and the intention is that his voice can find expression. The Lord thundereth. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. At that point, even the voice of the preacher is weak. He wants to come himself. That's how he comes in your spirit. When those rivers are many, the things that the preacher says are not heavy enough, he begins to thunder. The trouble you go through is not strong enough for ELSHADDAI. When ELSHADDAI comes, your journey will take off. We take off. We take off. We take off. There's a journey. There's a journey. There's a journey. I don't know the troubles that held Spiritlife, but ELSHADDAI came to thunder. His voice is upon the waters. Usamon Sailamo Satani Akum Takila Vakwata Hitai Samdo Urnakali Afrantaka. Sophia Kapapo, Watakakayapo, I am ELSHADDAI, Watakapapo, Kapasali, Parakelia Santako, Fiata. The voice of the Lord is upon many waters. The God of glory thundered. He thundered. He thundered. He thundered. I don't know what that problem is. Takeya, thunder on our behalf. wilderness of Kadesh, the voice of the Lord to his to calf, and discovered the forest. And in his temple doth everyone speak his glory. The Lord sitteth upon the flood. The Lord sitteth king forever. I keep an I give it in to skip I in the law I tell I defeat and Psalm 46 verse 8. Start from 7. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Verse 8. Verse 8. Come, behold the works of the Lord. The Lord. See what desolations he has made of that earth that was raging. When he comes as a very present help, he can attend to it. Verse 9. Meanwhile, the first thing that you look for is that if you can find a river You can find his voice. After he speaks from his voice, the next thing is that you begin to behold the works. You begin to behold his actions. Listen, I feel a clothing. Hato barita sakaria, urna hadis katis, hafte katalikas, hasila hasamno, urne fikaita kumteli, irna harai naharai, haritos il vaikum takila. Receive clothing for the next phase. Can you pray? Can you pray? Can you pray? There is a clothing for the journey. I see by the counsel of God. Baraka pompa kakapi. Verse 7 again. Verse 7. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Next verse. Come. Behold. That's at this point you just watch. ELSHADDAI has taken over. Behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he had made in the earth. Next. He maketh wars to cease. Hey, he maketh wars to cease. Can we pray concerning this territory? Let the wars against the work of God cease. Apateliam taskali, ultatalis, habrisa bantabo kulani, untai. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. Listen, keep that song, keep singing that song. No, listen. He maketh wars to cease unto the ends of the earth. When he has stopped the war, he follows your enemy and he breaks their bow. Then he cuts their spear in sunder. He burned their chariot in the fire. Next. When you have seen his works, this is the wisdom of a man that needs to meet El Shaddai in the day of trouble. But there is a problem for that man that needs to be fixed. The only way he will be able to find that river, hear that voice, and see those works is that be still. Oh no. In the midst of the trouble, the psalmist is saying, be still and know that I am God. I know that you are in trouble, but I'm very present. Can you be still and know? If you are not still, you will not know that I'm El Shaddai. You will not know. You will think the raging earth is strong enough to end your life. You will think so. You will think the problems can shut down your destiny. You will think it. But be still, be still, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know I'm El Shaddai. Be still. I don't know what is happening, but be still. Be still. Be still. Don't let the noise on the earth affect how you see. Be still. Be still. Eagle, there's still wings. Be still. Eagle, the storm will not end your journey. Be still. Be still. If you are still, you will see the capacities of God upon your spirit. You can soar. Be still. Be still. Why will you let the challenge to direct your life? How come you have allowed the trouble to choose what you do? On what ground should circumstances lead you? Be still. Be still. Abraham, be still. I know you can't see Ishmael again, but be still. I know it looks like you have waited 24 years, but Abraham, be still. And the Bible says he sat in front of his house and he was looking out. There was no worries again. Abraham was looking out. Abraham was still. He just wanted to find God. And suddenly he saw three men in the midst of all those trouble. Abraham saw them and he said, will you come to my house? I know I have problems, God, but God, what can I offer you? I know I'm confused, but what can I offer you? Will you mind if we kill a little lamb and feed you? Will you mind if you give you milk? My wife Sarah, she will cook for you. I don't have a child, no problem, but I am still. I will meet your need, God. I will be your answer. I will be your answer. Until you fix the problem, I will serve you. Oh, Yaten. The problem will not turn me back. The battles will not turn me back. I'm aware El Shaddai is with me. I'm aware. While I wait for Isaac, I want to see you. It was in this circumstance that El Shaddai came. Abraham was not complaining again. Abraham was now still. Abraham was now waiting. Abraham was now waiting. He was not agitated. He was 99. He was no more worried. He was not working out something else. He was not even saying, God, I've seen you come and give me a son. No, he was still. He said, God, what will I offer you? What do you want, Lord? That's the way to approach El Shaddai. I brought my hunger. I brought my emptiness. El Shaddai, I am sincere. Look at my fear. Look at what I'm afraid of. El Shaddai, I am sincere. Look at me. I am not strong enough for the journey. El Shaddai, will you help me? Will you help me? What can I offer you? I don't have what it takes, but I have a lamp in the house. I don't know how to do anything, but I can sing for you. I can sing for you in my room. I can sing for you. I don't know how to stand in public, but I can pray. I can pray at the back. Can you help me pray? When El Shaddai found a man that is still, he said, now I will be exalted. Sister, the issue of husband has made you wearied. Can you be still and know he's El Shaddai? You cannot allow the agitation of marriage to take you out. No. No. The matter of the fruit of the womb is not strong enough. El Shaddai can fix it. But he said, be still and know. Be still and come in contact. Be still and know. Be still and know. Listen. I want to round up. My time is fast spent. A man that will find El Shaddai will be still in the day of his adversity. At that point where we read in Genesis chapter what? 17 verse 1. Put it up. I want to round up. And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. At this point, even Abraham was just there. God, anything you feel like doing in my life, do. Abraham had been exhausted. There was no need to try with another Hagar. He was no more jealous of Eliezer inheriting something. At this point, the only thing he had left was El Shaddai. And when the Lord appeared to him, he said, now that you are relaxed, let me tell you something. I am El Shaddai. Will you be still and know? Will you be still? It's good to come and tell God what your needs are. Very good. But at some point you will learn to be still so that El Shaddai will come himself. You know, someone enjoying the operations of El Shaddai, his name was Solomon, went to the temple. What does God want? Sacrifice. He put 1,000 burnt offering until church could not collect his offering. They were collecting outside. You know, when El Shaddai come, he's the multi-breasted one. He came with a blank check. For 24 years, Abraham had the promise of a child, no child. Until the day God showed up. He didn't ask God for a child. He told God, you, come and rest. Let me refresh you.